to another episode of The Money Mentor with Graham Home, and we're continuing on at the moment with beautiful human beings with amazing results that are just too bloody good to be true. So we're back on the Changing Lives Financially special segment, and I want to welcome to you this morning a beautiful, beautiful couple, Donna and Michael. Or actually, you don't go by Donna, do you?
No, Dee.
Dee. Michael.
But Donna's okay.
Yeah. Donna's okay.
Yeah.
All right. How are we?
You're great,
Thanks,
you.
mate.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
You nervous at all?
No.
Oh, good. Experts. Excellent. Well, maybe for the listeners at home, and thank you for coming and sharing your story and your journey, maybe for the people tuning in that aren't part of the Infinity family, give us a quick background of yourselves and what was life pre-Infinity.
Okay, I obviously grew up, brother, parents in Sydney, ended up becoming a single parent of 4 kids for almost 20 years. Came across Michael down the track. Lucky boy, yeah. Very lucky boy. Very lucky boy. Very lucky boy. We got together, rented for a few years, had the worst landlord, and we thought we're never going to give him another cent. Okay. So then we went and purchased a property.
A fixer-upper that we spent 4.5 years.
Renovating.
4.5 years fixing
So
up.
far.
Well, yeah. I'm a chippy and I spent most of my afternoons and weekends doing a little bit.
Plodding around the house outside of work. Okay, good.
Yeah, so together, Michael's got two children, so we're the Brady Bunch without Alice.
Okay. Okay. So 6 kids, blended family entirely. Yeah. Okay, good. Where are you based?
In Brisbane.
Brizzy, yeah, cool. And what was life pre-Infinity? So blended family come together, kids of different ages, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What was life like pre-Infinity? So you got the first home together.
Yes.
Fixer-upper.
Yep.
Couple of years of work on that. It's hard work. What was life like then financially as you're fixing the home, blended family, mouths to feed, sports, educations, careers, all of these life things that we all face?
I guess we're in a position where all the kids are adults. So we're sort of empty nesters apart from a few fur bubbers, which we love. So we had the loan of around $500,000 on the PPR, which we're paying our monthly repayments.
What was home worth roughly then? What year is this?
Yeah, we this was in 2020, July 2020. We paid $460 for that.
July 2020 paid $460.
$460, yeah. So
you just mentioned 500.
I did. We had
so the house went up in value.
The house, we had some financial advice.
We had a $200,000 equity redraw that was going to get invested.
Yeah.
So the advice was that we'd drip feed it into a finance fund to get the gains and the losses in the market.
Nobody wants the losses. I'll just take the gains.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
right. But and that was, you can spend the money on anything really. So we bought a camper van and paid for a holiday.
Right.
Yeah, bad advice. Bad advice.
So this is a really good point to jump into it for a second then. So you bought the home for $460.
Yep.
And you obviously only had a small debt on it at that point in time, smaller debt. But over time, the property value went up and you fixed up and helped its value. So when you what year did you start with Infinity?
12 months ago.
12 months ago?
Yep.
And the debt was 500 then. So you'd drawn more, used the equity. So financial advisor, hey, let's get 200 grand against the house. It's now worth $1 million.
It's now about 1.1 now.
Okay, makes sense. Yep. So when you've had that advice, I'm assuming paid for the advice, been given the advice, drawn the line of credit or the loan for, I think it's a couple of $100 grand, but no one was really there to monitor the spending or to coach you on the
No, it was like a split loan, I guess you'd call it, and there's it was to be put into an investment fund, dollar cost averaging, I guess.
Did they do that bit with some of it?
No, well,
we did it ourselves.
Yeah, they just set it up and it sat there and went really nowhere.
A couple of $1,000 a week, I think, was the plan to just drop it into this investment fund and drip feed and spend a bit here, spend a bit there. And
so 12 months ago we owed more on the home
Yes.
than what we paid for the home 5 years ago.
That's
Correct,
right,
with
yeah.
that equity
Yeah,
redraw, correct.
With that,
yeah.
so some of it was
Yeah.
home loan debt, some of it was
Yes, correct.
investment
Equity
debt.
redraw, yeah.
Okay, so total debt was more than we paid, just a little bit. Okay, what else was happening beyond 12 months ago?
We were
We were eating.
we weren't living week to week. We had still had savings, and we're still enjoying holidays and cruises and
Yeah, we were still living. We
Yeah.
were working hard and taking our annual holidays. So
and
Annual.
annual holiday. Yeah.
yeah.
And we were
And when we take our annual holiday, we take an annual holiday because we work so hard all the
and
year.
still do.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah. But with
Yes.
we were coffee addicts.
Oh.
That was a big thing. That was the big highlight. Was we used to train like 7 days a week, and we'd go have a coffee at the cafe with the group after, and then
So go to the gym, train,
go to
for a
gym
social
or go
coffee.
go for a ride or something like
Okay,
that, and have
yep.
a social coffee. Then have another one on the way to work. We used to follow each other out the gate to go to work and go
Okay.
through the drive-through and get a coffee each, and then late morning, just go and grab a coffee. And we were spending like $250, $300 a week on takeaways. And you went,
Been there, done that.
fuck, that is just
Fucking
mental.
hurts.
Yeah.
That's mental.
It's a big leak in the back pocket
it
or
is
the
a
butt,
huge
one of the
leak.
two.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Okay.
But funnily enough, our weekly allowance is one takeaway coffee a week.
Now,
Each.
now.
That's now.
Yeah.
So you
That's
enjoy one coffee a week.
one takeaway coffee a week.
Well, let's go back to so 12 months ago, new to the Infinity family, 500,000 on the home loan, including investment debt and home loan debt. Where do we sit today, 12 months later?
Okay, so once we came on board with Infinity, we were assigned a fantastic team, our FinStrat Zaki.
Yep. He happens to be number one in
I
Australia,
know,
so that
right?
helps a little
I
bit.
He's the
know,
man.
he's the man.
Stole my title.
man, the myth,
but
the legend.
I'm not salty at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zaki has refinanced. We've taken equity from our PPR, our primary residence. We've secured 5 investment properties. We've created
Five
yeah.
in 12
Yeah.
months.
In 12
Correct.
months, yeah.
What about the home loan balance? So in the home
Yeah.
loan balance, we had a 500 total, but there's a bit of a split, right? So
Yeah.
you've now got a new investment debt of a couple of hundred for all those properties deposits, obviously. Do you know what the home loan balance sits at today?
Yeah, I think we've paid off around $150,000 to $153,000 in 12 months off the primary place of residence.
Just
By being accountable for our spend.
not spending
Yeah.
$300 a week on fucking coffee.
That's a lot of money, guys.
It is.
It is.
It
It is crazy, and it's the thing. An old saying I used to hear was sort of, "Look after the pence, and the pounds would take care of themselves." And that's how old I am. I'm showing my age, but and it never really kicked in. And it's only probably in the last 12 months that I understand, like, to do these things and to look after the cents is go to Aldi and insert your card into the FPOS machine and save 14 cents on a merchant fee. That you never would have thought of.
Then you've
but-
got to catch your groceries. It's like an Olympic
Yeah,
sport.
yeah.
Well, yeah. But it's the little things like that we've become aware of. You know, just saving 14 cents, 18 cents on merchant fees rather
Couple
than
$100
tapping.
a week in coffee.
Yeah, and being accountable for every cent.
So for someone listening at home then that loves their coffee, because I love my coffee,
Yep.
and you've gone from spending, say, $250, $300 a week on 3 coffees a day
Yeah.
each, maybe 6 coffees a day, what do? You just go without coffee?
No, we just have
No.
Moccona. Like,
Yep.
Okay.
the thing that my thought is that, like, Moccona's constant. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You go and spend $6 on
A
a
shit
coffee and it's
coffee.
shit. You're kicking yourself that you spent $6 on a shit coffee when you could have had a Moccona and you know exactly what you're going to get.
Bit of a
But
difference on the old belly too if you
Yeah.
are
That's it.
getting a cup that's this much milk with a shot of coffee.
That's right.
Or you go make a Moccona and you get a shot of coffee and
And-
water and a
And
little bit of milk.
shot of milk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of thing there, and that's how we justify it, I guess. Just it's just
So
you
you're
know what
still
you're
having
going to
coffee,
Oh, absolutely.
just
yeah.
not having the lucky dip of a good coffee and a shit
Yeah,
coffee.
exactly right, and
And
paying
you're
for the
not
shit coffee.
ducking out and being unproductive and going over to the cafe to get the coffee,
Yeah.
then coming back and spending the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've just taken a bit more accountability upon ourselves to be able to meet and align with our goals.
So we've smashed
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
off the mortgage in 12 months. acquired 5 investment properties. Where's the shift for you? So 12 months ago, for whatever reason, you found us, which I'm intrigued to hear. You found us. You've gone straight in. There's no like, oh, this might. You're like, all right, we're in blind faith. Off we go, and we're doing it. And so, where is this desire? Where did this desire over 12 months ago come from to go? We need to do more. We need to do better, quicker. I don't want to put words in me. Like, what changed for you to find us 12 months ago, and then share with people some of the wins, like why are you thinking and acting differently today?
I'll just take that back a step. I found you on one of my Facebook feeds, just popped up, and I, busy working away, had a break, so I sort of started to, I listened to your reels, I guess you'd call them. And I thought, okay, this has got a little bit of substance here. So I registered for your webinar, your free Tuesday night webinar. And of course, my work schedule is crazy busy. So I missed the webinar.
Right.
I was held up with work that night. So I had an opportunity to watch it another time, which I did. And I said to Michael, you need to watch this. And he sort of...
Skeptical?
Skeptical. Michael's, I guess there's a bit of a Bitcoin scam in the back end there somewhere in the past life. So Michael's a little bit skeptical about that. And it's like, you've got to watch it. This guy's onto something. I said,
I think I've told you before. First time they had, he's full of shit, that bloke.
He's full of shit.
But then...
Until I tell someone they're full of shit and kick them off the set.
So he sort of, he sat next to me in my office at home there, and he's like, okay, and then he got up and walked out.
A lot of stuff resonated when I first started, and it was from my previous marriage where I'd built and sold 6 houses.
Right.
And walked away from that after selling the final one, making fuck all.
Right.
After many years, and then something went, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So we...
so I said, okay, the next week we registered again for the webinar, and we watched it. And it's like...
The whole thing
together.
So
together.
You got a bit and said you need to watch it. You watched a bit and gone, cool, okay. Then you're like, no, we're going to we're watching this together. That's
it. And then Michael's like, he still wasn't there. He still wasn't there. And I just left it for a few weeks.
Jeez, I'm going to have to do better. You're a hard task, mate.
I've always been tough.
Well, like normally I'd say, fuck you, I'm just doing it, right?
She went, fuck it, I'll register for the masterclass.
I left it, I did leave it a few weeks because I thought, well, I can't invest in the masterclass because it's not just my money, it's our money.
It's our money,
It's our money, and it has to be a joint decision. So I left it a few weeks, and I didn't sort of mention anything. Maybe once or twice I said, we need to do this. We really need to do this. And I left it. And then I think a few weeks down the track, that was in January, February, and it's like, fuck it, mate, we're doing it. I don't care what you say, we're doing it.
Yes, dear.
She's a register for the masterclass.
We're doing it.
We're doing it, or you're sleeping on the fucking couch.
He said, I can't sit there the whole weekend. I just can't sit there the whole weekend.
I reckon 50% of the men in the messages are like, I can't sit still all weekend. Can we have a chat one-to-one? I said, anyone who's got the time to talk to you one-to-one is very fucking average at what they do. I don't have time to talk to anyone one-to-one. So,
but I
can't sit there all weekend.
We watched it. We sat there the whole weekend, and he says, "Man, this guy is just like the first half a day is like, man, this guy's just all about himself."
Yeah, absolutely.
and I kept saying to him, "But
eventually, when it give that confidence, it's like, I've got to share what we've been able to do." Then when you realise when it goes to, now this is what we can do for you, you're like,
and then it fixes.
If I just start with what you can do and I go, here's a calculator, bang, 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 you're like, what a load of shit.
And
you're looking for the fault.
I reckon I spent more time in front of the TV that weekend than Donna did. I was glued. Dead set.
We were sitting there together, and it's like, and I knew because I'd watched the webinar again and again and again.
Yeah.
And so, and then Mike was like, I don't know, and then by
lunchtime on the Saturday, I was
where do I sign up?
KFC, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, take my money.
And we're there on the calculator, and we're
playing with the numbers.
Thinking this guy he's got something.
Something's going on here. Okay. And then obviously, so that's Saturday, and you're doing the out of debt. Do you remember doing your out of debt and that feeling, or is this real or fuck,
Yeah,
is
well,
this
when it
wild
came down to
or
about 7 years from 27 years when we just did the first calculation.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
We were
mental.
just,
Like,
yeah.
we will be paying we were going to be paying our house off in retirement, and
Yeah.
we can have it paid off just about before
Yeah.
then.
But I think our 7 years now with our refinance and strategy, even after using a lot of our funds to buy further properties,
Yep.
we're down to probably just under 3 years.
under 3? I was going to say
Yeah, I would say about
3.
2.7 years now.
And you can see
Yeah.
that tracking because you've done it in the
Absolutely.
last 12
I have
months.
you should see my spreadsheets.
He loves the spreadsheet.
Blood me. Now tell me, what was the first 1, 2... Because the calculator's one thing, right? You're
Yeah.
like, this guy's onto something. Now I can
Yep.
see why he's a bit fucking arrogant. He knows his shit and thinks everyone else is an idiot. For a reason, right?
Because he knows his shit.
Because no shit,
Yeah.
right? And the numbers don't lie,
No.
right? So, like, I see comments on these things we do. People are like, oh, you just paid more. Fucking genius. I'm like, well, you must be pretty fucking dumb if you commented that and you're not paying more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not about paying more. It's about where your money
Money
sits
sits.
because
Yeah.
interest is calculated
Correct.
daily.
Yes.
Without paying more, just by sitting money in it, you can create a larger principal reduction and a lower interest, which is like an extra income stream.
Yep.
That's where people are fucking dumb.
Yeah.
I read the
Yeah.
comments and I'm like, oh, you idiot! If
I've
only
been
you knew
dumb
how
with
dumb
that my
you
whole
are.
life.
But you know what?
Yeah.
It's not about being dumb. It's about only knowing what you know.
Well, there's
Remember?
a balance. You know
Yeah.
what you don't know what you don't know.
No,
but if
yeah.
you're prepared to comment on some shit
Yeah.
That you don't know.
and you're too ignorant to realise you
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know, now you're dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're ignorant
Yeah.
and dumb, right? Because I acknowledge I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
There is no way on the planet I could get someone to build flat pack furniture for me. I'm as handy as an ashtray on a motorbike, right? Pointless.
Yeah.
Like you've got to involve experts in the different,
Yeah.
your health, your wealth, etc.
Yeah.
But going back, the calculator's obviously pretty exciting. You're like, all right, I'm in. We're doing this. We can do it, right? There's that feeling. Tell me about. Let's jump forward to month 1, 2, and 3. So Zachy restructures, we build a strategy together. He puts the draft together. I tweak it with him, play with it, sign it off. He presents it to you. We execute.
Mm-hmm.
When you start seeing month 1, month 2,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
talk to everyone at home about, because people are sitting at home, right?
Yeah.
If we can find one family that listen to this and
Yep.
go, all right, I'll give this a crack. Read the book, watch the free webinar, don't pay me a fucking cent, and do it on their own.
Yeah.
They'll then come to me anyway because they go, well, imagine if we
If
could do
we
it
had
better,
a listen.
right?
Yeah.
But if we can get one family to listen to you being so vulnerable with your story, share that feeling month 1, month 2. Do you remember any of the drops to go, what the? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. We think, where did all this money come
Yeah.
from? Like, we had the money. We haven't changed anything.
didn't earn more
Didn't
money.
earn
Didn't
any
earn
more
more
money,
money.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's just about how things have had shifted around to capture, like, so much money that was
Yeah.
just
Leaking?
Leaking
leaking
on
positively
coffee.
because we were using it
Yeah.
wisely, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was still leaking.
Yeah.
You know, so now it's like we each month when we do our sweep to our account, it's like holy dooly, you know,
Yeah, where's-
moist.
It is.
Seriously. Seriously.
Financially moist.
Financially moist.
I love
It's
it.
like, how many times a day can I check my bank account?
Mate, you're a sure thing these
Mate,
days.
it is. Look, every time I turn around, Donna's got the accounts open. Going, oh, look at this. Yeah.
look,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
it's amazing,
calculating, and
yeah.
it's like,
Well,
yep,
Were you always excited by finances?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. But I was also disappointed by finances, and
Right.
as well, because being a single parent, and you know, it was tough raising 4 children, to be able to provide 4 sets of braces and 4 this. Yeah, fantastic. I had a fantastic dad and supported them,
Yeah.
without a doubt. But still, as a single parent, there are expenses that just
Eat away, yeah.
ate away at
Yeah.
any potential to be able
Yep.
to save a copious amount of money.
Okay.
So so that was
So-
it was a game changer.
So now we're financially moist, and that'll do me. That's going to go viral on social
Yeah.
media. That's
Sorry,
a cracker.
guys.
No, sorry, not sorry. So that feeling now of it almost goes from, oh, we're doing all right with our money or could do better to like fucking excited.
Yeah.
But there's some things in there I just really want to drill in for people because these things are for people at home, not for us, right? Okay. Oh, but they just stopped buying coffee and they went to Makona Gold. Talk us through, okay, talk us through the process of, we did stop buying coffee 6 times a day or 3 times a day. We still have coffee, but we now, instead of a holiday once a year, how many times can we go on? Is there some wins and losses?
Oh,
Let's talk about the trade-offs, because everyone thinks the word budgeting, right? And I say it's contrarian. People think budgeting means you eat 2-minute noodles 6-way and then you have tight ass Tuesday Dominoes, right?
Yeah.
I say budgeting is living in abundance. Like, we couldn't drive a car today to get here without a route or a plan.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't. A good example. You don't get on a plane and they go, "Oh, welcome to flight VA 123 from Brisbane to Sydney today. The weather's a bit shit, so we're just going to fucking sit here." Like, they have a route, they have a plan, they have an alternate. Oh, there's a bit of storm cloud. Like, they have a route, a destination. There's an ulterior plan, right? Talk to everyone at home about. Share with us. Okay, well, we did stop buying multiple coffees a day, but we now go on an extra holiday. Like, give us some framework. What's changed that people would perceive to be shit and negative because they deserve the 6 coffees a day?
Yeah.
Have you had some other wins, like where you've had what people might perceive as a loss? Because I think budgeting is living in abundance. It's like, I have this much money for coffee. I have this much money for this. It's me saying where my money will flow, which dictates where I get to go.
That's right.
We're excited by where the future looks. And that gives us motivation to...
So a bit of delayed gratification.
Oh, absolutely.
Very much so.
Yeah. So we've given up like the weekly takeaways or bi-weekly takeaways. We enjoyed the local Indian every week, and we went and started having that. Right, we'll have date night. We'll include that in our budget.
Oh, look out!
Yeah,
I bet you nobody at home's got date night in their plans.
But we'd go and spend $70-$80 at an Indian that we'd put in our budget and go, we could have had this at home for $10 or $15. But that was our mindset. But then we still enjoy our long-term gratification, which is our cruises. We've still got cruises booked in August this year and cruises booked for next year. So
doing cruises and holidays at least once or twice a year now?
Yeah. We've done 4 in the last year.
4?
Some are short ones.
Yeah, on top of all our savings and so forth. Yeah. So a couple of short ones, but we went to Alaska
So we've smashed hundreds of thousands of dollars off the loan.
Yeah.
Done 4 cruises.
Yeah.
And bought 5 proproperties.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
So it's been a pretty productive year.
I guess, we've changed.
I'm moist. I'm aroused now.
Well, that's
no, we've just rejigged how we do everything. Yeah. We are older than a lot of people. Than a lot of people in our Infinity community, right. I guess. So we're at the back end of the working life environment.
So you've got a more aggressive mindset.
Yeah. Correct. Okay. So we need to make hay while the sun shines. Yeah. So that means, again, delayed gratification. So we're open to foregoing or delaying things now to reap the benefits down the track.
That makes sense, because a lot of people won't do things just to get gain. Yeah. So you go, like a bloody 75 hard and all the nonsense. I go, okay, I'm 10 kilos down. Yeah. But I don't ever do that until I'm so uncomfortably overweight that I need to relieve pain. Does that make sense? Yep. Whereas when I'm 10 kilos down and I finish and I go, I'm like, if I can eat, a lot of people aren't continue to be wired that way. Yeah. It's like, I could do better, but I don't need to. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you're prepared to be a little bit uncomfortable, which sounds like it's become comfortable anyway.
Well, our uncomfortable is comfortable.
Norm,
it's and we started with what we call a FFF account, which is our budget, our food, fuel, and fun
and fetishes.
Yeah. Fetishes are out the door. And we are on around $112 a week.
What?
Yeah, we started at $450. We're down to that.
What do you eat? Are you on
we
the air
eat.
diet?
No, we're very healthy eaters.
Yeah. What do you eat?
We eat
rice,
meat and veg. We eat full on healthy.
There's just the 2 of you in the house now, and then the fur babies.
Yeah, correct.
Paying for fuel?
Intermittently between working from home and the office.
Right.
Michael is lucky he has a work car.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that 112. Wow.
Yeah, we don't have any other bills.
But that's just food.
Yeah.
Yeah, just food basically. That's all we have. Yeah.
Our date nights are delayed for our annual cruises.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we don't go out and spend $40, $50, $70 a week.
Okay.
Our enjoyment comes from the dogs and our gardening and our
See, but you
house.
started at $450.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
always had money left over in that.
So you weren't spending it. So that's
No.
interesting. So you were probably blowing $250, $300 a week on coffee. You then started with a new practical spending plan for discretionary spend of $450.
Yep.
Realised you weren't spending that.
Yeah.
And now you're down to $112, which
Yeah.
is wild.
Yeah,
know.
So I don't
It's-
encourage anyone to be that aggressive.
No,
that
and-
way.
But-
But
so
if it
we've-
works,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
And we have been on that for a couple of weeks now. Obviously, it's not a long time, but we're trialing it and it's working. So
Okay.
if we can maintain that and sustain it,
Oh, we did have.
Mind you, if you're going to stick to that, $5-6 grand a year sort of restriction,
Yeah.
and you decide you want to have a date night once a week or once a fortnight, or
can.
go by club, whatever, you can.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
right, yeah.
Because most people are on 700, 800, 1,500 a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
If you're just getting by and you're really comfortable and you're really happy and healthy, well,
Yeah,
you do you.
exactly.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and we don't need to be out and about, and we get our enjoyment from basic, simple things that
Okay.
We did have an ulterior motive too. We wanted to get a final deposit for another property we just purchased too. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a benefit. There was
Yeah.
a reward.
absolutely.
This first so,
Yeah.
so you made a personal financial decision to go without temporarily
Yes.
Yes.
to be able to pay down enough debt
Yes.
to have a large enough equity position to debt recycle that to another deposit
Correct,
on
and
investment.
which we'll do next week.
yeah, which is
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
yes,
you.
factoring
Yeah.
sort of fairly heavily in our retirement
Yeah.
plans for 4 or 5 years'
Yeah.
time.
Which
so-
is exciting, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because we get
absolutely.
rid of that home debt.
Yeah.
We have the investments. If they each do their thing by just a little bit,
yeah.
Yeah.
then we're comfortable to
Oh,
retire.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful to be part of the community because we only knew what we knew of buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. I guess
Yeah.
historically,
Or buy, never sell.
buy, never,
never
sell, or
sell.
never buy, just rent.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
That was going to be our case, just making minimum monthly repayments.
And spend everything else.
I look at the last 12 months where we would have probably only paid off $8,000 out of our mortgage
paying
if we were
normal. Yeah.
paying normally,
Yeah.
and to smash out $153,000 on that,
How does that feel?
Oh,
like
it's amazing.
moist.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing for anyone listening at home.
that is
but-
like it's very it's very rewarding.
What about like kids, family, friends? Do you share with
Yeah.
anyone? Does anyone ask if they noticed a change in you?
Children, we've the 6 children. 4 of them have property. One of them was with Infinity.
Yep.
One of our daughters. The other one is close to being on board. Another daughter's just moving into her new property in the next few weeks, and then we'll have a nice little bit of equity there that we'll probably try to encourage her to.
And is that something they're asking you? You're sharing with them, or
They're
Getting
seeing
excited
the
by the
results, and we
results,
do share information. I was right full on sharing information. It's like, man, just back off a bit, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I guess, I had a cousin who reached out in the last couple of weeks who has been scoping Infinity.
Yeah.
And then my brother asked for 2 hot tips in 25 words or less.
I'm so good.
On 2 hot tips on Infinity.
Okay.
So we don't share widely with our friends
But you're
and
letting
family.
people come to you.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
important. You
Yeah.
don't want to be the Amway or Isogenics or
No.
bubble water salesperson.
No.
You want people to when they're ready,
Yep.
say, hey, I see you guys are doing well. Tell me more.
Yeah.
I got a work colleague, one of my work colleagues, he'd already started the process with Infinity, and they'd done the webinar, and I think they'd signed up for the masterclass, and he'd been talking about it, and then, he's just come on board, and I think they've just got their first property this week, so
very
they're
exciting.
full on with it as well.
Yeah.
And
So when you mentioned community, which is why I was asking, you've got obviously your personal community,
Yes.
your work, friends, family, kids. Talk about, you mentioned the communities, but talk about the Infinity community. How have you found blending into a new community,
Just
so
a
to speak? That's usually, I mean, I don't, and Beck and I take a lot of pride in this. I don't know any organisation on the planet that can put 600 or 700 clients in a room together for 3-4 days and not expect someone to blow up?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I don't know.
That's
Like you could have Tesla owners in a room. Someone's going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
Toyota owners in a room. You know,
Yeah.
bank. And people say, "Oh yeah, well, cool. Let's chat about it." Right? It's a very unique environment.
Yeah.
That
It is, and
anything goes.
I think everybody's on their own journey with everyone, but everyone has the ultimate same goal. I think, and you can really undress, you know, hypothetically
Financially undress.
financially
I
undress.
wasn't sure where we were going.
Within the
no,
community,
no, always
and
Coming out with all the one-liners today, dude.
I know, right?
Stealing my thunder.
hanging around you too long.
Yeah, see what I've done?
Yeah. But I think everybody can financially undress, and nobody can be embarrassed or judged or criticised, or everybody's empowered
Yep.
for sharing their own journey, and
No judgment.
there's no
No.
judgment, and their backstories. Everybody's got a different backstory, and whilst ours, I guess, is quite small compared to
Stereotypical, I
some
guess.
that have some horrendous backstories.
Yeah.
And where they are now,
Yep.
through the transformation with Infinity, it's just I don't know. It's a blessing. It's just gratitude for what you and Beck and the entire Infinity team have been able to share and change lives.
It's pretty empowering. We have to pinch ourselves regularly.
Yeah.
I usually have to get out of there towards the end of the night because some of our clients are pretty wild.
Yeah.
Then hit the bar tab in like the first hour at the events. But there's some really good people there. I think we're getting better at who we say no to and who we say, I think you guys feel that when you come and share the next few events. We're getting really good at saying no to some people because they want to join the gym, but they don't want to do the diet.
exercise,
Not the diet, but they don't want to eat the clean food.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I joined the gym. Oh, it's my New Year's resolution, and I've never been to the gym, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're getting much better at that, which is why that community feels so good. But how do you draw on that sense of community, whether it's on social media or because our real best and most amazing results, by the way, they're all hidden in our private Facebook group. We don't actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
share that with
bar
them.
people sharing some results to help other people. It's all hidden. It's not like, hey, this is how great we are, which is quite funny because if we open that up, poof,
I was assimilating with other people that are similar, like somebody at our first REM, David and Jackie Cherry, like
beautiful people. It's
and
actually the plaque behind you right there that they sent Beck and I with the 7 cherries.
Yeah.
I sat next to David, and he's a chippy, and I'm a chippy, and we just chewed the fat and and we're the same person, like so, and that's the easy part. Then Alex and Mary out touring the Greek Isles at the moment, and
they're out there loving it, and they paid their home loan off in like a year and a half. And Alex is like, "Oh, Mary, look at these lucky buggers." That's us, you idiot.
But just and meeting these people, and they're similar people as us. And we go, well, we're not. It's not unique or anything like that.
Just everyday knockabout people.
Exactly. People on different levels of income.
Yep.
What about Shireen? Like Shireen, a single lady.
And she's smashing
She's smashing it.
In every aspect of
Yeah,
life.
absolutely. It's life-changing, and I think a lot of people come undone mentally through financial impact and in their own personal situation. And I believe through even looking at a lot of the posts on our Infinity feed, I believe there are a lot of hidden stories in there, how you've saved, or the Infinity people have saved some families.
Well, I get them in the
that.
DMs.
From that
but I don't
position.
share them.
No.
But there's a lot of very lengthy.
Yeah, where some people have been able to save $1,000 that month. You know, where they
living week to week and not
Yep.
be able to put food on
And
the
For
table.
them, that first
it's a credit
$1,000
to
shift is like,
that's
I couldn't have
huge.
ever imagined having that.
And credit to them, and credit to the process. The process, and you know, obviously it's up
The
to the,
team.
as we
it's
treat
amazing
it
team.
and we work with it.
Yeah.
But it's a program that everybody out there that wants to get into property, wants to create wealth, should explore.
The industry is very broken. We've still got an industry that's transactional.
Yeah.
We're still selling a product, sometimes not providing a service that extends beyond selling of the product. When we think about it, it should be advice, guidance, structure.
Yep.
It tends to restrict and limit to the sale of the product and the commission.
Yep.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
And you know
stops there,
what? We
sadly.
had that same experience with our youngest son this last week. He went to a broker to get his borrowing capacity. He's got a car, a young person has a car worth X amount, owes X amount on it. And she said to him, mate, let's just refinance the car
Get a rate on it.
and get a
Never
better rate on
refinance
it.
a car.
No.
And it's a car that he doesn't drive.
Yeah.
So, because I've been saying to him, just
Flog it off.
He's
Yeah,
going
let's
to take.
start back at the top of the graph. Extend the term. You got a 5-year car loan.
Yeah.
You're
And
3
that's what I
years in. You've
explained
only
to
got
him.
2 years left. Oh, let's refinance it for
Yeah.
another 5 years.
Yeah.
See,
Well, that's So anyway, he's put that on the back burner. But so
And that
was,
just made us angry
Yeah,
hearing
I
that.
just-
So
and sadly, that is the level, and it's not necessarily. I think you said lady. It's not that lady's fault. That's all she knows.
Yeah.
She does it herself.
yeah.
We take advice from people that are typically not that much better off than ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just on average incomes. We're not in
not high income.
astronomical incomes,
Yeah.
but we now make every dollar count.
Yeah.
We make every cent count.
So would you guys say you're under 200 grand a year each? Over 200
Under
grand a year?
200.
Under 200
Yeah, well
each.
under
I'm
two-
under 100 grand.
Yeah, well.
Okay,
under.
well, that's I didn't know what you want to
Yeah,
share. But
no, I'm happy to share
under
that.
100,000,
That's- yeah.
over 100,
Just
Just
over.
over.
Just?
Yeah.
so under and just
Yeah,
over.
around
Just
so,
200
under,
can-
and Michael's just over.
200
So
can go on, yeah.
yeah.
so call it 100, 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
100,
So for
100,
people listening at home, 100, 100.
Yeah.
Okay. Which means you got about 60 grand a year in tax, roughly, give or take, 50, 60 grand a year in tax. And you're taking that net and smashing nearly all of it off the debt
Yep.
and gone and acquired 4 or 5 properties.
Yep.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah. And
So what-
looking to secure more, hopefully in the near
So
future.
then what's everybody else's excuse?
I
Not
don't
being
think
accountable.
it's
Or
an
what-
excuse.
or
I
what
think
were
it's
your
what they
If
only
not
know.
excuses,
Yeah.
actions prior to this structure.
My
Day to
out-
day.
Lack of accountability.
Well, yeah, we just, the
Spending
local
without
nursery's
thinking.
going broke because I'm not there.
Yeah. That's,
Right.
And the cafe.
The cafe, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that went broke
oh,
ages
maybe,
ago.
yeah, mainly that.
But
Well,
the
that was the other
nursery,
one. The nursery.
Bunnings, like Bunnings is one of my favourite stores.
They're
and
just
it's like-
crap.
Yeah.
When I say
You
crap,
don't
I mean
need-
Things that dust collected, like plants that
Stuff.
I
That
can put on
die.
hold.
Yeah.
I can put those. Everything. We have everything we need.
Mm.
Everything else is a want, and those wants can happen down the track.
Yeah.
okay. Why the shift? Is there some sort of life event, health scare, family? Why the shift from finding us to be like, we're going to go hammer and tong at this, balls to the wall, and then we're going to be able to go, we can do whatever we want,
I think
whenever we want.
Because-
That is the motivation to be able to
Yeah,
be in that position rather than paying a mortgage out of fucking our
Use
superannuation.
your super to pay him and then you got
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly
And
right.
it's about leaving a legacy for our children as well down
Okay.
the track. That generational wealth.
Okay.
Whilst we're trying to, I've always said to my kids, from the very first day you start work, you will sacrifice
Yep.
into super, and they've all done that. I think they've all done that.
Have you?
But get into property. I've guided them into property.
Yep.
Whilst I wasn't in a position to do it myself,
Yep.
I've guided them into
Well done.
property. But I think to
And
be
it's
able to
sadly getting
leave
pretty
them-
hard. There's going to be
It
haves
is.
and haves
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
getting really tough.
Yeah.
Having property is just one thing. It's knowing what to do with it as well. Like,
Yeah.
so I've had property all my life basically, but didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Well, you can have property and you can
Yeah.
still fuck it up.
Yeah, that's right.
You
yeah.
can- you can
And
not
still
get ahead
live-
with it.
Still live week to week and be a slave to a mortgage. And yeah,
Yeah.
been there for many years. But now the mortgage is our slave. It's our bitch.
Yeah, you're going to make that mortgage your bitch, that's for
But
sure.
we won't have that for 30 years or 28 years.
no.
We'll have it for
Next
2.5
next
years.
couple of years.
Maybe
Yeah.
even less if,
Okay.
we'll see how we play that out. But it's about being able to have choices in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And we are closer to the retirement age than most. Well, a lot of people, I guess.
So when do you
and
want to
so-
stop work?
Oh, probably.
Oh,
I
I'm
love
62,
my job.
I'd like to. yeah. No, seriously, I think I've got another 5 years in me, and because I enjoy my job,
Well,
I enjoy being
Do you
active.
feel a shift now that you're nailing it so well? Do you feel like you go to work now because you want to and you enjoy it? Did you previously feel like you had to go?
Oh, I've always.
We've always enjoyed
I've
it.
enjoyed my work.
Okay.
It's something I enjoy. I always enjoyed not being at work too. But but I don't feel I have to go to work, and possibly I could retire sooner.
Okay.
But I say I just like to keep active as well. So
Yeah.
but
And
Donna's got a different version.
yeah, I've got a different version on his retirement plans. Yeah, I think like I love my job. I love the company I work for. You know, I've never felt so valued in all my life.
Good.
Which is amazing. And I could do another 10 years and then roll into part-time casual, you know.
So just to stimulate you, not because you have to.
No, not
financially,
because I have
but you
to.
enjoy it.
Correct.
That'd be a nice feeling.
And whilst I'm working, Michael will not be retiring. Yeah, no.
That's what happens when you get a younger woman.
Mate, what you do is just put an apron on and nothing else, and just make sure dinner's on the plates. On the
Put a nail bag on
His nail bag. Yeah, no, he can retire at some point, but I'll probably keep working after that. But I guess the motivation for us, like I said earlier, is to be able to have choices down the track.
Let's talk about some of those choices. What's the big goal for you guys now? Because it moves, right? It can
does,
change as you're getting more becoming more successful.
Being mortgage free would be our first big goal.
That's
there's going to be a bit of
short-term goal.
There's going to be a bit of a cruise or a party or something to celebrate that.
I'm sure there'd be a cruise somewhere
yes,
in the world.
absolutely. So that one's already planned. So we'll be off to Antarctica for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So
and hopefully that's around the year of Donna's 60th as well. So we'll be making a big one out of that.
yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
And then having those choices to go off and do a world cruise or something like that, and just know that the house is taken care of,
and having the financial capability then to have the freedom then to take the grandkids overseas and do things like that, and you know, and the family, the kids, you know, so
So tell me, for someone listening in at home that isn't part of our existing community, because it's very private and you're either a client or you're not, but we do a lot for people in the free space. What are some tips or some learnings you could share with people at home from your journey? Whether it's budgeting or coffees or travel or anything at all that you think could be valuable, because you're obviously now sharing your story and you're hearing people come up at events and things are like, well, I can't do this. You're like, yes, you fucking, what are some of the things you think you could share today that if someone listening could get value from, what would you share?
I think open your mind to another way. Don't think that the way you're doing it is the only way, especially if it's a hard way that you're doing it. Just look for another way to do things. Well,
you kind of know in your 50s, right, if something's hard or not.
Yeah.
You're kind of feeling it, looking for a better way. So if someone's sitting at home and they're like, fucking financially... So open your mind. There's probably a better way. Shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're week to week, which most people do, you don't have to be. Just start being a little bit accountable for your money. Do a proper budget that you stick to.
Oh, but hang on a minute. No, the cost of living, fuel,
excuses.
interest.
Excuses.
Thank you.
I that's one of my grinds. People that are negative. And
You've heard it in a live room with me. We can have 1,000 people in a ballroom.
People don't have
Someone
manners.
goes, but with the cost of living, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
And I think, excuses just grind me. People have so many excuses for why they can't. Find freaking excuses or reasons why you can.
Or
create
a way you can.
Or a different way,
I think...
Or find a resource that gives you a different way.
You can have excuses or you can have results.
Yeah. And
you can't have both.
Yeah.
Fear. People are so fearful. I mean, fear can be your greatest strength.
It's interesting in Australia because obviously US and stuff we're doing as well. It's interesting I find when I'm in the US for business, people want to see people win.
Yeah.
They want to talk about winning. They want to talk about success, and there's always a better way. Australia, rort, scam, tall poppy, bullshit, fucking we are ingrained. We're wired a different way here, sadly.
Yeah, it is.
That everything is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I wish I could crack that
it's
code.
Obviously a cultural thing that's
cultural
evolved over
thing.
many years. But
and we're a little bit stick our head in the sand. She'll be sweet, Mac. Have another tinny. Fuck, it'll sort itself out. Whatever. It is the way it is. We're a bit shut off.
Yeah, I just think people are so used to the way it was, the way it is, but rather than opening their minds to the way it could be.
Okay. So there's a couple of good tips. Anything else you can think of that people need to... You said be accountable. No excuses. Be accountable.
Yeah, just be really honest with yourself and sit down have a look at your statements, have
Yeah.
a look at your spend, see where your money's going, what can you do without, what's a need, what's a want, is it a dust collector, do I need another 5 plants that are going to die anyway because I don't have
Yeah.
time to water
Just get a
them?
plastic one. You can spray and wipe
But
it.
that's you're just spending money unnecessarily, right?
Yeah.
On plastic ones. So, it's just, what's your goal?
Yeah.
What is your why?
Um,
You've got to
and
have a why.
Don't buy your kids love. You just
Yeah.
trying to buy shit for them that they don't
I
really
always
need.
say stop buying your kids shit you never had
Yeah.
and start teaching them the lessons that you were
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
taught, right?
Make sacrifices now to reap the rewards
Yeah.
later.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And where to from here? You got a swag of properties under your arm. You've gone shopping. You're
Yeah.
smashing off the mortgage. You're going on cruises. You're working because you love it and you want to and you feel valued and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, life's terrible.
I know.
no, we
From
love
here,
it.
I guess our goal is to obviously try and reduce that 2.73 years down to as little as
low as we
possible.
possibly can. But
Yep.
Yeah, but to just build upon our investment portfolio.
Yep.
So
So we're going to have to do a part 2 because we're
Yep.
June now, right?
Yep.
So we'll have to do a December.
Yep.
Okay, here's do a 6-month recap. So
Yep.
the loan balance today is what?
Like 349.
349.
349
Yeah.
on the home loan
Yeah.
split.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're aiming for that to be gone in under 3 years.
Yep.
We've got 349 today. We'll do in 6 months. We'll do another session for everyone to follow the journey if that's okay. I think
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put a line in the sand today on the 349.
All right.
What do you think we can be at in December?
Oh,
Oh,
270. No, I think about 250, 240.
So 100 grand
Yeah, absolutely.
months?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
in 6 months?
trust me.
Oh, it's a big call. We're only earning nearly 200
Yeah, yeah, trust me.
with a cruise.
I've already had my calculator
Oh, the
out.
cruise is
Well,
paid
she
for.
made a
Cruise
list.
is
She's
all
checking
paid
it
for.
twice.
Yeah,
She's-
the cruise,
Cruise
is
is
paid,
paid
for.
so
for.
you reckon
I reckon I can knock 100 off.
in 6 months?
Yep, by December.
All right. Well, I'm a little bit aroused, but we'll see what
Yeah,
happens in
see
the
what
next 6
happens.
months' time. We'll part 2 this for sure.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom before I ask you guys any questions from any words of wisdom for people and also anything for the team because we've got an amazing team here.
Absolutely brilliant.
And we've worked really hard. I always talk about hiring the human, not the skill.
Yeah.
The skill, trainable, teachable, developable, can be refined. The person that puts their trolley back in the car park versus the person who doesn't,
Correct.
fucking not my tribe, not my vibe.
Yeah.
So anything there you want to share about or talk about the team or any other parting words of wisdom for anyone before you pick my brain?
I think the passion that you have is infectious with the team. And I guess it's as you get to know you, the man, and it's not just a business for you, this is a passion.
Because a business I'd be out long
Yeah,
ago.
exactly
Yeah.
right.
I would have sold it,
Yeah.
I would have stopped.
Yeah.
It's kind of
and
just
I
fun
guess
now.
today's tribute to that, like you're going to be sitting here 12 hours doing webinars. That's passion. That's not because you fucking have to.
Well, it's fun. This is the fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't the behind the scenes blood, sweat and tears calculations, whiteboards, dramas. Like this is the fun stuff, really.
Yeah, and I guess through your passion and your want to change the financial sector, I guess that leads and culture comes from leadership, right? Comes from the top. So you drive that down, and the people that you have have the level of respect for that and for you, and I guess it's just everybody loves you, loves the product, loves Beck, the team.
It's good feedback.
It's just seriously, it's a holistic approach to.
It's hard to clone passion,
Yes,
It is,
Yeah.
but when you can get it right, it's not clone, but it's almost like
Can't fake it.
intravenously fed into
Yeah.
people here. It's like,
You can't fake it. You can for a
No.
little bit, but then
no,
you
what
get
we
caught
say to
out.
people, like some people come and go, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
their CV
yeah.
looks great. They
Yeah.
appear to be a great human being. Doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Their co-workers call them out. We're here. We spend more time at work, awake,
Yeah.
than we do with our family at home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you're gone in the morning,
Yep.
you come home, dinner, bed, right? So it doesn't take long to realise that, hey,
That's
this
not
isn't
the
the
right
right
person.
person.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and that's sad, but hey, they'll go live their best life somewhere
Yeah,
else.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but it's good to get that feedback and hear that it is almost intravenously
Yeah,
fed
it
into
is.
them. And every morning,
Yeah.
my first half of a day is walking through the office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And
You've got to be amongst
waving
it.
at people
Yeah.
on Zoom
Yeah.
and sticking
Yeah.
my finger up and
Yeah.
tongue out, but it's actually getting in and around and talking to every department and every client interaction on Zoom or a phone or
Not just sitting in an office with a suit and just
laying
not
on
being
a beach
approachable
with
or
And I
an
guess,
asshole.
yeah, I guess we were all assigned our own little team. So the responsiveness to a question or a phone call or
Yeah.
an email is pretty much instant. So
But that's an interesting one. Talk to
Yeah.
me about you as a consumer and a customer, because you guys are great. Talk about your requirements, your level of involvement in this, because you book your meetings each month, so you guys are going to actually book those meetings. You're going to look at your numbers. You're checking, a lot of people, some people don't, right? They're like, oh, I go to book I can't book a meeting for 2-3 weeks. Well, you should have pre-booked it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
things come up, the team
Yep.
will help you, but and this is in any business or personal training or business or life. Talk about your commitments. How are you keeping those commitments to yourself to make sure that you're reporting, you're doing your numbers? Share that with people, because it is important, right? I can't force you
no.
to say your money goes here and there. I can give you the structure, we can execute it, the team can manage it, but it is up to you. You've got to play.
Absolutely. And you have to be disciplined to do that. You can, fly by the seat of your pants and hope it all works, hope the process works. But unless you're disciplined to be in control of that, it's not going to work. We have our team. We've got the wonderful Erin. Lou is our wealth strategist, and Zaki.
Yeah,
Jordan's a support. All at the drop of a hat, they're right there.
And that's
So previously then, financially, have you not had a team? Like, have you maybe had a broker or
Just
a finance an
yeah,
accountant? I felt like, is this the first time you've really had a
everything
team?
under the
Correct,
umbrella.
absolutely. And even our tax
Yep.
fella, Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Marky Mark. Everybody in the back end, everyone's intertwined, so it makes
Even the separate businesses are all
correct. The
separate, all come
separate
together and-
businesses
And I think-
understand how Infinity works,
Yeah.
understand the processes, all link in the back end.
And talking to each other too about
Yeah.
everything. So
Well, that's important, because
Yeah.
I look back and think, imagine if you had this team,
Yeah.
external accountant
Yeah.
and this and Infinity and all these people all sat in a room for you when you were 30,
Yeah.
not 50.
Yep.
yeah.
Where would you be today?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, if only we were back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's probably the common one, isn't it? I wish I had known
Mm,
about
I've
it.
got a couple of bucks for every time I've heard it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's-
exactly.
but it's a true story. I
No,
think.
absolutely, yeah.
And I talk about this all the time, and no one else has had a crack at changing it in our industry bar Beck and I, but it's like, we're almost a personal trainer for your finances.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's not just sell you this, the transaction's over. Our real job starts after the loan happens.
Yeah.
Then it's the management, the accountability, the improvement, the correction, hey guys, you're fucking up. What are you doing? Like, do you want to be part of this or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot more work for us and the external advisors sitting in the same room or Zoom, making sure that you're following that part. It's bumper bowling.
Yep.
There's the strike, but we need to stay in the.
Yeah,
we
stay
don't
on
want to
the
gut a
line.
ball.
That's true. And whilst I run the accounts in the household, and write a spreadsheet for every property, ins and outs, and everything that's due, when it's due, interest rate changes. We still get those reminders from your team saying, "Okay, this is due on this date. We've got to do this." It's a seamless process that
Yeah.
there's backing, the support.
It's taken a long time to
Yeah,
get to that point.
but and I
We had our
must admit,
13th birthday this week.
Yeah.
and happy birthday,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Yeah.
But even over the last 12 months, we've noticed an upward shift in all the processes as well, which
Yeah.
is a
It just
credit
keeps
to
it
The
going.
comms and the
Yeah.
processes
Yeah,
and this
absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've made some significant and substantial investments in both people,
Yep.
processes, procedures,
Yep.
tech, some very, very big investments.
Yeah.
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 Otherwise, the business sort of stagnates. And I always say growing or dying. If we don't continue to grow with our client, then we're going to die.
Yeah.
absolutely. And
That's good to hear that people can feel it, see it, and
Oh,
benefit
yeah.
from
And
it.
I think, for those people that aren't a part of Infinity, they really need to explore what it's about.
Just have a look.
Have
into
a
it.
look.
Yeah.
You've got
You
nothing
will
to
lose
lose.
nothing.
I
Yeah.
just say to everyone, if
Yeah.
not me, somebody, do the free webinar,
Yeah.
take all my
Yeah.
shit for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you follow it, in 3 months, more will come off your loan than it
Oh.
did last
Yeah.
year.
If
That's
I can
math.
go
Seriously?
back to one you asked about tips. If anybody ever suggests to you to refinance and consolidate debt, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
You win the instant. Well, if
Yeah.
you're going to take a 30-year loan at 25 years, 5 years in, and start again to save $18 a week,
It
Yeah.
doesn't work.
30-year loan's now 35
Stop
because you already served
chasing.
5 years.
Yeah.
Now you're back at the top.
Yep.
Look at the
Stop
graph.
chasing
And you've
that
added your-
lower interest
Yeah.
rate.
I hear it on the morning. We go for a walk or a run on the beach with Beck, and I hear people, yeah, we just consolidated Adam's Hilux into our loan, and
Yeah.
our broker saved us $186 a fortnight. And I'm like, no, you're paying a car off over
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah,
you
you're
fuck
just paying
knuckle pump. Your
$200,000
broker's a
for a-
fucking moron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like but it's really hard because
Yeah.
there's a whole market telling everyone to do the same thing, which is shit, right? And then there's somebody contrarian like us
Yeah.
Yeah.
with, I don't know many businesses that can put thousands of clients on sessions like these for
Yeah.
not 10 seconds to say something good, for hours,
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
right? And have such raving fans and
Yeah.
proof of the product. So it is hard. I think, if anyone's telling you to just refinance for a lower rate or to consolidate some debt and start all over again, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
really,
It doesn't
really
work. It doesn't work.
And I think,
it goes backwards.
yeah, another tip is stop looking to hide your income. Pay your tax. Pay your tax because tax is a success fee.
You.
Like if
Don't
you,
pay any more than you
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
pay it.
These people where they've got multiple cars and
Yeah.
bikes and toys and this and say, I don't pay any tax. Well, then you're fucking broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the truth,
And-
really.
Yeah, and those people that have all the toys and cars and things, depreciating assets.
Well, they're liabilities.
They are.
They've got an
They
asset with a debt that depreciates. It's a liability,
Yeah.
right?
Sell them off and
you
get
got a
into your
truck, you got a
home.
Range Rover, you
Yeah.
got a Hilux. Woo, you don't pay tax because you wrote all that shit off. You just got stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not life.
That's
You got
it.
no income either.
Yeah. No, well, you spent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't save on tax. You just spent everything you
Yeah.
fucking earned and called it a tax deduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And,
really smart.
the property market's just going to boom again. So, now's the time to buy.
Well, listen to Doc Wilson on that. Maybe
Oh,
I know
I
a few
did.
things
I was
about that. I don't know. I'm
listening-
doing
we
all right.
listen to
but-
him regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
But
listening to him this
Actually,
morning at the
it's a
gym.
Bit of a perfect
Yeah.
storm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen to Doc's latest podcast, and something that you said, I think, really early on in the piece when we joined was about, people asking about the Perth market. It was booming, and G was going.
And what did I say about the Perth market?
Yeah, I just got this feeling it's
Going to oversupply.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it's,
It'll have too
Right,
much
yeah.
much
And-
product in the market and not enough tenants,
and I think the last two,
and it will subdue.
Yeah, the last 2 quarters or months, whatever, it's gone down. So
But how good is that Melbourne market now?
Hey.
It's sustaining.
But hey, phobia,
Yep.
fear of being involved.
Wow.
Melbourne's fucked. Melbourne's shit.
Yeah.
Now everyone's going to start to get FOMO.
Yeah.
They're going to get the fear of missing out.
I know, right? Well, not for us. We've
I
got
could-
3
I could
properties
tell
in
you,
Melbourne.
Whether people
Yeah.
get pissed off at this or not,
Yeah.
there's a paper from
Yeah.
the Victorian government going around at the moment about when they took away foreign investors, right? Because they had to pay huge duties and levies, okay? There's a paper going around right now about that if they allow them to purchase again in Victoria, billions of dollars of revenue and taxes. But also property values,
Will
because
increase.
most foreign students typically go to Melbourne
Yep.
Yep.
and have an inner city apartment,
Correct.
right? And that was propping that market up quite a lot. Not saying they should do it, but I'm telling you, there's a paper on it right now about those taxes and levies. Instead of pumping the people that live here, that are residents here, that will do interesting things to the Melbourne market. Short term, long term,
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, I did call Perth right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
it out. Take it out.
I said it's going to get oversupplied.
Yeah.
It's going to have too much and not enough people that actually live and reside there. If everybody flocks there and invests, there won't be enough people to actually rent these things when they're finished.
Yeah,
Yep.
and their
That
property
will then
market's gone
subdue
down.
values, subdue rents,
Yep.
too much competition. It's a race to the bottom. We're starting to see early signs of that in the last couple of sessions with
Yep.
Doc Wilson.
Yeah.
But
Yep, very
I also
interesting.
said, let's all explore Melbourne while it's at the bottom, like I did personally.
Yeah.
Let's go buy when some of it's below replacement cost. You couldn't build it for what you can buy it.
Correct. Yeah.
Also, when you're getting yields for rent of 6, 7, 8% in Melbourne and Adelaide and even Perth when you were, and the values down here, the value has to come up, which I said about Southeast Queensland several years ago. Sydney, forget it, your yield's fucking terrible, right? So there's these very simple metrics that you all start to listen and learn, and if you listen to Doc once a week or once a month with the team and I, it starts to become pretty simple.
Yeah.
Use the data.
That's correct. And like, since we've been with Infinity, we're constantly listening to the podcast. It's
Sickos.
education.
Oh, nice.
But it's education. It really is. It's, keeping up to date and across everything. Yeah.
Even increase the speed so I could get that information quicker.
Times two. Now, before we wrap up today, we are going to do this again in 6 months' time. It's June now, so we'll do it again in December. For anyone who sees this at any point in time, there'll be a part 2. What questions do you have for me today while we're together? Anything you can think of you want to pick my brain on at all?
There was, was my son. They're just looking to buy for the first time. And what Infinity is there something within Infinity that can help him? He's like, be a first home buyer, grants and whatever.
Yeah, so we'll always share that information. We don't typically work with a lot of first home buyers unless they're ready to buy it right now, because the model has changed over since 2019. We've not taken a single inquiry. We're very fortunate, very blessed, very lucky. We put so much value into the market for free. People flock to us, and we get more people want help than we could actually ever possibly serve. We just don't have enough team. So for first home buyers, we always say, do all of the free information, the free resources, the free education. I don't believe as a business commercially, anyone can monetize the first home buyers market except for selling them alone, right? Because you're saving.
Yeah.
Really, you shouldn't be, what are you charging someone to go, hey, have a budget, save this. So that's a mum and dad thing, high school thing, right? So while they're saving, I don't think they should be paying anyone anything. They should just be saving to the best of their ability, learning to budget, all those sorts of things. Practicing putting aside what they think their mortgage repayment would be in savings. Because if they can't save what their mortgage repayment would be, now, caveat to that, if they're paying rent, bit hard, right? But if they're living with mum and dad, or they can for a period of time with friends or something, they need to practice saving what their weekly mortgage repayment. They can get on any calculator on the internet and go to any bank, Conbank, ThefPac, Grab, whatever, and go, hey, all right, I want to borrow $400,000 to buy myself a nice little 1-bedroom unit. The repayments are X. Let's just make up a number, $500 a week. They need to start showing that they can put $500 a week aside. If they're at home or living with, if they're paying rent, I get it. If their rent's $500 a week, it will stop and it will become their loan.
That's
correct.
No problem, right? But again, that thought process. They can do the free webinars. They can listen to the structural stuff. I think that's important for them. So when they do go speak to their first bankers or brokers, they're listening to what they've been pitched, sold, or told. And then they can go away and create their own mold versus what they were pitched, sold, and told. But then we don't typically suggest they should do masterclass because it's just education only. They don't have a debt. I give that money back guarantee to save them $25,000, but they don't have that debt yet for the saving. We do get a lot of first home buyers but that reach out and they're like, hey, but we want to do it because we want to buy next month. Sure, they can do it with the view of wanting to apply to work with us to do the pre-approval and the loan so they can buy. But I wouldn't suggest they do that because we're fee for service, unlike the people that just get the commission. We're going to do a whole higher level of delivery, but that fee is going to take a chunk out of their deposit. So it just depends on their circumstances and when they're ready. I say to them, wait until you're ready. When you're ready to buy, you've got more than enough deposit and you're ready, then have a look at it all. Or when you're starting to talk to your first banker or broker for free, start to listen to the free content, read the book, that sort of stuff.
Good.
But we've sort of, as I said, stayed away from it commercially as a business because we're so busy with what we do really well. Same as kids education. I'm dying to build a kids education version.
That'd be great.
We started curriculum, syllables. We've done heaps over the years. Then we push it to the side. That one's hard because the buck stops and starts in the home. So no matter what we teach a child and they get really, really empowered, they go home, what a load of shit, you can't do that, Billy. Well, it's all out the door now, isn't it? Because mum and dad don't know.
That's it.
And again, we don't know what we don't know. We're too ignorant or just don't want to know. So that's another one. It's really hard, really passionate. I think that might change when Beck and I have children, hopefully next year.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, very confident I want to be super hands-on. Maybe weird homeschool dad dude. Maybe then I'm probably going to want to create some sort of curriculum.
Yeah.
We've got friends at the moment that are living overseas for a few months in Europe with their kids before they get too old or too cool. One of them was told to read a book and one for an hour a day, and one of them was told to do 2 hours of work a day, one high school, one primary school.
Wow.
So that just validates for me that the school system is just childcare
Yeah.
That's correct.
and the memorisation. If a high school student has to do 2 hours of work a day, but they're there for 8 hours,
Yeah.
come on.
No.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother rant that I could
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to pick my brain on while we're here today?
Oh, jeez.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
No?
Oh, just no, it's probably just a process.
Yeah.
But just where, like, all the properties that we invest in.
Yep.
How do they all come about?
Me.
Yeah.
So pretty much 70 to 80% of my time is spent on property research
right.
now.
Yeah.
So you'll see this year the Zackies, the Rachels, the Bens, the Travises, like so many of our financial team, it'll be all top 100 brokers,
Yeah.
right? With
Yes.
numbers bigger than what I ever wrote because the business has grown so
Yeah.
much, right? Some of them double, triple what I used to do. And good on them, right?
Yeah.
The business is very much moving away from Graham and Beck to just Infinity.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously I have my own brand in Money Mentor,
Yeah.
but the business Infinity is much, much bigger
Yeah,
than just Rebecca and I these days. It's nearing 200 team members. It's international now. So I spend pretty much all of my time on looking at the investment stuff. Why? Because it's what I'm doing personally.
Yeah.
Because we genuinely don't need to work anymore. You know, buy a multi-million-dollar home, pay it off, or not have any debt at all, do it with cash. Last weekend, for example, I bought 4 properties in 2 days.
No.
One was for our niece, one was for our nephew, and then Beck has twin cousins, Ben and Adam, and they're both married, and we bought a property for each of them.
Oh, that's generous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't buy 4 of them, we bought it with them.
Yeah.
Because like borrowing capacity, deposits,
Yeah, yeah.
etc. So Beck and I, through our family ventures and trust investment entity, we've gone and bought that property 50-50 with all of them. So our niece now has her first home.
Yep.
Little 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, beautiful little villa down in Port Macquarie. Our nephew doesn't know, so hopefully he doesn't listen to this because he's only like 13. But we bought the one next door, which we're just going to rent out for now. But it's like 549 grand. When he's 18 or 20, it's probably $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So like, fuck, we'll just buy the one next door now because
Yep.
we're going to want to help him one day.
Yep.
And then the cousins, one of them's got a beautiful home down in Port, the other one up here on the Gold Coast. They're in different areas with their beautiful wives and families. So for me, all I do now, most of the time,
Is property research.
is property. It's
Yeah.
research, it's data, it's acquisitions, it's stuff that doesn't exist. If you look at, say, Eve, right? I was involved in looking at that before it was even acquired by the developer. It was a different developer. They were selling it. I went and spoke to a developer and said, hey, I think this should look like this and it would do amazingly well. Now, to put some context to it, as long as it goes through, touch wood, I paid 1.85 for my sub penthouse there. I've got a contract that's been issued literally yesterday, off market through an agent I know. He brought me a buyer, 3.35 million cash unconditional.
Wow.
And that's our home, remember, because we sold Benoa
Yeah.
and we moved into Eve.
Yeah.
And then within like 7-8 months of living in it, while we've renovated another home we bought in Broadbeach because the pool fell over and they had vomit blue carpet and all that. So we've been renovating that ever since we bought it to love it and move into it. So we bought Eve as our new home. It's 4 bedrooms,
Yeah.
ocean front, beautiful.
Spectacular.
And now we've got a buyer at 3.35 and we paid 1.85.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So
that's
those
really good.
sorts of what will work, what won't,
Yeah.
that's where pretty much all of my time is now.
So-
Whilst I still love the financial stuff, I haven't had to reinvent anything. Like I create a new product every year or so, or every 6 months or so, and talk to the lenders. But my team, like the team that you'll see getting all the awards, all the final, they are way superior to me now.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has my brain, But as far as delivery, volume, service, they're absolutely crushing it. So,
they're amazing.
so the thousands and thousands of transactions we're doing from an investment business point of view and stuff each year, that's where all of my time and resource nearly goes. Besides events, it's for me it's fun, but it's a full-on time-consuming.
Are they coming to you with properties and that now? And
look, we get hundreds and hundreds of calls, thousands of calls, emails. I ignore all of them, because if they're not either a big listed entity or a very strong big private entity, I'm not going to talk to them. Every man in there, jack of all trades, is a builder, is a developer, or hey, have you looked at this suburb? And we do a pretty strong mix now of new and near new. So we have a lot of customers, we'll do something for you and it might be near new or new, and then I'll tap you on the shoulder in 4 years and go, hey, I've got a buyer for that property. You paid 5, it's now worth not. Like, for example, many years ago, we did Pimpama on the northern Gold Coast, Familyville. They're doing a big $2 billion town centre, Westfield, Coomera across the road. Everyone, as if you'd buy in fucking Pimpama. 409,900 was the first house and land package we did there. Beck and I bought there, staff bought there, Luke, Jamaica, heaps of people. Beck's best friend Kelly and Jackson bought their first home in there. When they did it, it was about 549. Everything in there today sells for about 850 to 950.
Huge.
Now we did that in 2016, 17, 18. So in 7 to 9, 10 years, people have doubled their money. Their 400-500s have turned into 800-900s, nearly $1 million. And that's where my time is spent saying, what's the next fringe area that will become and people like new. Not everyone wants to live in a 100-year-old shitbox in the CBD of Sydney in a studio, right? That everything is something to someone at some point in time. But we traditionally know within 30, 45 minutes of a major capital city, you can explore regionals, but within those hubs, if you can afford it, that's where families want to be, mum and dad, hopefully with children, young couples, old couples, doesn't matter. But they're people that need a roof over their heads. They're good everyday salt of the earth people. They'll always pay their rent unless something tragic happens in their life. They'll look after their home as if it's their own. When you start to just look at things really simplistically, you don't actually have, there's no such thing as a hotspot. There's no such thing as these are just simple, I call it like a pizza. When I'm investing, I look at a pizza. I want every slice to be cut perfect and evenly in the same size. I want transport, logistics, education, retail, maybe agriculture, I want the pizza slices to all be equal, because therefore if I lost retail, if a shopping centre closed, it's just one piece of the pizza. So that won't destroy my rent or my capital overnight. I actually keep it, I call it PhD investing. Push here, dummy. Not PhD fucking masters and this and degrees and like very practical of, well, mum and dad always need to rent that property. Well, they always need to put a roof over their head. Can somebody, do they work in Brisbane and one of them works in the Gold Coast? Do they have a jet ski and they go down to Hope? Just very simple things, right? But I've always had people have a crack at me when we pick those areas, and they're typically people with an alternate business model. Now, eventually those people with the alternate business models might catch up to me when in 15, 20, 30 years, but at the moment they're hundreds of millions of dollars behind, and you know this because I share it on stage now, right? Like I think the last event I shared $110 million of real estate that we've acquired in maybe 3-4 years. Not to be facetious, people ask for it anyway, might as well show it with addresses, with transactions, which ones we kept, which ones we sold. So everyone has a business model. My business model is just to see the clients win, right? They want new, they want old, they want this, they want that.
And I think that's what makes infinity real. It's a real thing. It's not some fictitious made up storyline.
It's time consuming. Most of my time is spent in that real world now of what works. And then also the data, when should we tell you to sell?
That was my next question was, how do you know when we should sell one of our properties.
It's a really good question. So let's
yeah.
make an assumption.
Yeah.
How much did we say we owe on the home again?
Our primary residence,
340.
$349. Yeah.
If we had a property that you bought last year, say it was new and they're still pushing the dirt around, or you didn't get the keys or whatever until next year. Let's say January next year you get the keys. And you bought for $5, and in this market it's worth $750. There's $250 of profit there. You owe
$49
or $350.
Yeah.
There's $250 profit in the investment.
Yeah.
If we've signed that contract, if we've acquired and owned that asset for 12 months, we get the 50% CGT
Correct.
discount.
Yeah.
That's tax-free, 50% of the profit. So if there's $250 profit and you've got $350 debt, I'll say to you when we get the keys, put the tenant in, they're paying their rent on time, hey, let's fuck it off.
Yep.
Right? And I will do that. I have another client that will want an existing property.
Yep.
They'll come and acquire that at bank valuation, at market value, right? There's these people, I bought really well below market. I bought in the market's the fucking market. You've got a buyer and a seller, and it's worth what the bank, not me, no one else, not you, what the bank determines it's worth, right? It's, again, simple shit, regardless of sales pitches. So that sale for you of the $250, you paid stamp duty, you paid agent's commission. That offsets your cost base and your CGT, but you've got $250 less costs, call it $200, but you've got the physical cash.
Yeah.
You get to offset the costs, and 50% of it's tax-free. We're going to knock 180, maybe, I don't know, 200 grand off your home loan.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, perfect.
Now it's not 3 years, 2.7 years.
And then my 6 months of
then it's down to
knocking
6
that
months.
off.
Yeah.
Right? So that would see you in a position, if we were fortunate enough to have that much growth during waiting for settlement on a new property, we'd be laughing.
Yep.
I.e. like my Eve property, like my
Correct,
main
yeah.
beach property, like all of my properties.
Yeah.
They tend, touch wood, they tend to have been going, because we have a housing crisis in Australia. Sadly, very sadly, housing has become a commodity. Gold, silver, oil, food, resources. People either invest or play in that, or they do not. You can say it's immoral, it's unethical. I've rented. I needed someone to provide a home for me to put a roof over my head during my life. That's always going to be a thing.
Yep.
So a lot of time spent on it, a lot of energy, a lot of capital in the Doc Wilsons and the data and all sorts of stuff. But it's actually not that hard if you just say, look, I just want to get a good unit or home or villa or that I expect to grow, 3, 5, 6% per annum, use leverage, tax deduct, just simple. Like, I'm not looking to make a gazillion dollars like these gurus. I'm looking for a very simple transaction. If it can grow at 6 to 7% per annum, which historically, as we know from Doc, 6.8 over the last 40 years for capital cities, if I can make 6 or 7% per annum capital growth, plus good rental yield, plus deductions, I'm doing okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's actually really simple.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting, isn't it?
I enjoy it. That's
Very
That's what
exciting.
keeps me going, yeah. But eventually, I don't know, hopefully it doesn't get boring.
Oh, well, I'm excited for our future.
Yeah.
Should be.
Absolutely.
It should be done bloody well.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah,
We
thanks,
just-
mate. We couldn't have done it without you. So.
Yeah, we'd
I
still
know
be
we
paying our
wouldn't have.
$8,000 a year off the
No,
principal.
you guys do, all we can do is lead you
Yeah.
to the water. You got to drink the
Yeah.
Kool-Aid. It's up to you to actually see it through and stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys have done that. So well done. Kudos to you.
Yeah, thank
And to
you.
your team, because your team have done an amazing
Got an
job.
amazing team, yeah.
Team,
And,
fantastic.
We might get them in the 6 months for the review. We might sit the team down as well,
Mm-hmm.
just to talk about the journey. I think that would be really cool for
Yeah.
everyone
That'd be
tuning
great,
in from
Yeah,
home.
that'd be
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
No, thanks for having us
thank you
to
for
be
having
able
us,
to
yeah.
share and hopefully we can create some, inquiry and get some more people on board.
Hey, even if it's free, just do the
Yeah.
webinar or read the book or
Oh,
whatever.
Absolutely.
And have a crack yourself. If one family listens to this and has a crack themselves, and they'll see you on we'll tag you in it.
Yeah.
Send them a message and say, "Hey, thanks guys, I did this and I've paid off my car, or I've paid off my car."
And we're happy to share.
Yeah.
We're
Appreciate
just
it.
normal people. We're just happy to share and
And don't let age be a barrier either. Like,
Yeah.
if you think you're too old, just jump on board. It's never too late to change. And
It's just a number.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
mate.
Thanks.